This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 246. We are recording on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2014. I'm Edie Sellers. Ugh, my tongue isn't working. I can't even say my name. Edie Sellers. And with me is Nick Nicola, and we have no Holy Goalie today. Sorry, Nick.
Hooray! I'm finally free.
Yeah, Goalie's dealing with the snowpocalypse right now. And I guess he's sick. I've been watching his Facebook feed, and it's been saying stuff like going to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with him. We'll find out later. He's going to be here for happy endings, but he's been unburying himself from snow. So I think that's probably what he's doing right now, is doing the snow thing.
Blizzard and sick. Yeah. That's a rough combination.
I know. It makes you so glad you live in California.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why anyone would want to live anywhere else.
Seriously, well, I don't know. In a couple of months, we might hate our lives because we've got no water.
Yeah.
But, you
That's
know.
true. Well, then we can just spread the California love everywhere else. You know, like, let's just take over.
Oh, yeah, true.
It'll be like civilization. California will kind of spread to Nevada.
Steal their water.
Exactly.
Then we go to Utah. Steal their water.
Yeah. They got plenty of it, right?
Right. Montana, Wyoming, look out. We're coming for you.
Uh-huh.
So I had an interesting morning. I rolled out of bed, and as soon as I stood up, my nose started bleeding. So if I'm snuffly and weird sounding, it's because my head is full of blood. More than usual.
That's no big deal.
I know, but it sucks. Then you had that blood taste in your mouth, that irony taste. Ugh, I hate that. Oh,
That happened a lot the past couple days, just because it's been real cold and dry.
Well,
It just causes...
yeah, for us, which means 60s. It's like 59, and yeah, it's sort of dry. And actually, it has been kind of dry. But I must have done something to my nose in the middle of the night, and it was just sitting there, and as soon as I stood up, it was like, oh, floodgates are open. Awesome.
At least it happened as you woke up,
Right.
not when you were asleep.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yep. So, games. Let's just dive right into this. Oh, by the way, how are you?
I'm good.
How was your week?
Good.
Do anything interesting? Come on, you must have done something interesting.
Played games.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much what we all do.
Yep.
All right, so what are your games that you played? Because you've had your PlayStation on. It's been on. We came across this issue last night, and we finally figured it out. Nick has been on PlayStation. We send him tons of invites to stuff, but he never responds. But it turns out that there's something going on with either his PSN account or his PlayStation itself. But when he puts it onto standby mode, it doesn't log him out.
But not just that. When I turned it off, apparently I was still online.
Oh, you turned it completely off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I still online now?
I don't know. Want me to find out?
Oh.
You're gonna have to carry the show for a moment. Can you do that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I can
right.
talk about
something.
Yeah, some of the stuff I'm playing. I have fallen in pretty hard with some of the iPhone games. I've been playing a big variety of those, and one of the more interesting ones is not Professor Layton, like the Layton Brothers Mystery Room. And Professor Layton was this DS series, sort of a crime investigator puzzle series has been insanely popular on the DS. And when I saw it in the iOS store, I was surprised because it was free. And I thought, that's weird because Layton games aren't free. And so I downloaded it and started playing it. And it was a pretty fun mystery crime-solving game. I had to solve a crime. And then I realized that it charges you almost like by the case. So like the whole game is split up into 9 cases. The first 2 are free. Then 3 through 6 are $3. And cases 7 through 9 are $2. And I thought that was a real strange, interesting way of charging people for an iPhone game, because it just seems like a weirdly consumer-friendly way to charge for games, since, you know, with games, most people don't beat them. Like, the statistics are like only 20% of people get to the end of a game.
Is it really that low?
Something like that, maybe 25%, you know, but it's way below 50. I know that.
Wow. That's surprising.
But, you know, you still pay for the whole game.
Right.
So it strikes me as, like, unusually friendly that this company would charge for, you know, the beginning part of the game and then charge less for half the end of the game, as if they're kind of enticing you into beating it, rather than just outright forcing you to buy all of it right up front. So, props to level 5 for, like...
Well, how much is the game to start off with? And then, well, it's free. But then, what are we talking about the prices for the packs of cases?
$3 for the next set of cases, and then $2 for the one after that.
So it comes out to $5. That's about right. About the price
which is
of a game.
less than Device 6.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, actually.
I know. Like, that could be a way that, you know, high quality, more than $1 games survive on iOS.
Right.
Because there's still a lot of stuff on iOS that's real, like, dirt cheap, and I'm amazed that they make any money off of it.
Yeah. Well, did you like the game? Is it a good game?
Oh, yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was quite a fun little game. There was a murder investigation where this sort of rich socialite woman was strangled to death on this hotel balcony, and her hand was stuck inside a sandwich. And it's a weird thing, and that, you know, it just involved kind of zooming in, looking at the crime scene, tapping on a bunch of stuff to sort of collect notes, and then using those notes to accuse, like, the 3 suspects. It's a rather well put together game, because even in that one case, there are a couple interesting twists, and I liked that when you interrogated this one guy, he kind of helped you, like, dig into the case a lot and point it toward this one suspect. But then when the guy, like, your partner asks you, so who do you think did it? I accused the guy that was helping us. I was like, yeah, this guy is totally guilty. And he's like, yep, I think you're right. Totally. This is why. Because everything he said is just a crazy lie. And I was like, all right. Like, it kind of encourages you to think critically and, like, to actually not just follow the obvious clues, but to kind of consider what they mean within the larger context of things.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Look at you, all iPhoned out. Now, you've had it a week. I know, but you've had it a week. Overall, I told you it was a good decision to make. It would change your life in ways you didn't appreciate, needed to be changed. And
although I don't know if I'd say it's really changed my life, because it's kind of a new gaming device, and that's cool. I like the fact that I can basically update all my podcasts, because I use it a lot as an iPod. I love that with the podcast app, I can download all the podcasts without ever having to connect it to iTunes. But That's like texting is easier, but those are all very little minor things.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
And the playing of the
used-
games. The playing of the
Yeah,
games.
yeah. It's a new gaming device.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's like it and the 3DS kind of exist on the same spectrum in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say it's a life-changing device, but it is a cool little device.
So what other games have you played?
I played a lot of Plague Inc.
Yeah, it's a good game, isn't it?
Yeah,
What have you named your plague?
Helix.
Hel-
After the new show on Sci-Fi Channel, which is fucking awesome.
What show?
It's called Helix.
Oh, okay.
It's about this kind of disease that gets unleashed on this Arctic base that kind of turns people into zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a mix of The Thing and Alien and zombies from the guy that did Battlestar Galactica, and it is so goddamn good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in need of a new show.
I'd recommend watching Helix. It's
Okay.
up to episode 3 now, so you've got like a nice chunk to kind of get into.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just named every virus, not every virus, every disease Helix,
Oh,
no matter what.
yeah. I've named mine Myra.
Myra.
Yeah, because she was a girl I worked with I fucking hated. I started
go.
playing it at work, and I was a little afraid that someone would see that my disease was named Myra. She'd be sitting right next to me, blah, 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 going off, and I'd be like, ugh. Bury my head in Plague Inc. and thinking to myself,
Man,
one of these
Myra
days,
the UK is in anarchy because of Myra.
Myra has killed everyone in Norway. Actually, Norway's
Yeah.
the hard one. So what is your problematic city or problematic country? Have you actually managed to kill everyone? Have you been successful?
I have been highly successful.
Really?
Incredibly successful. So the first time I played it for like several hours straight. I was up to like 5 a.m. unexpectedly.
Because
and
of the
that was
game or
all-
for other reasons?
What?
Because of the game or for other reasons?
No, because of the game.
Ugh.
Because it's like, it was, maybe 1 or 2, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try out this Plague Inc. And, I played one game and failed. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this again. Okay, I'm going to try this again. I failed. Okay, I'm going to do this again and again and again. And playing it has the bacteria was the hardest thing so far. And I don't know if that's because maybe it coincided with the learning curve of the game, but I failed so many times in a row because I just couldn't get that balance between, infecting everyone and then making it lethal enough to kill everyone
Right.
before the cure was found.
Right.
So eventually that drove me to checking out like Plague Inc. tips online. And I found a couple good tips, and I put those into practice, and I haven't lost the game since.
Oh, I'm stymied on fungus.
Oh, I've beat last night. I beat Fungus, Parasite, and Prion.
Oh, because prions are actually okay. Well, all right. So, what are these tips?
Start in India
Yeah,
because
there's a lot
India
of people.
has a it has a seaport, it has an airport, it has relatively low medical supplies, medical community, so it's not really good, and it has 1 billion people. So like already you've infected half the world if you can infect India.
Mm-hmm.
And you can spread to everywhere else. And what I've found is you want to kind of start buying symptoms early. Like very quickly, I would buy a whole bunch of transmissions, and then I'd start buying symptoms to make me more infective.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when like I want to start killing people, all I would have to do is just like buy 2 things, and I would be a super lethal virus. So I could quickly go from completely non-lethal and hidden to super lethal and start killing everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just a matter of trying to spread as much as I can without anyone noticing.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the parasite, what's cool about the parasite is some of the like parasite abilities is that it burrows further into the brain so that it becomes harder to detect. So I bought all of those, like has some of the first things I ever got, and I was able to infect like 70% of the world before anyone even noticed and started looking for a cure. And that felt really good. It's like, yeah, I am this hidden death.
It's kind of Hitchcockian in that way, that you're like rooting for the virus.
Oh yeah, and what's amazing is how dark just these little text prompts can be. Like the music is also really good. Like it's this kind of low suspenseful music that really fits like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're playing and when you start to really break down society and you just get met like little note after note of Bolivia's government has fallen, the UK's government has fallen,
mm-hmm.
China's government has fallen,
mm-hmm.
and it's just like these messages over one after another, and it's just like, wow,
yeah,
this is
when it's
dark.
like you pull the trigger. When you
Yeah.
that's because that's how your tips are exactly how I play it. I guess I haven't tried hard enough. But yeah, that's that moment when you infect, you can see the infections, and then you pull the trigger on, okay, let's kill them all. And you could just see the world going into chaos. And it's got the news ticker at the bottom that's telling you what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And it's you visualize it and you realize the world is fucked. Even if somebody survives, the world is fucked.
Like China okays human experimentation. Oh, my favorite. That was like, oh, the world is so fucked. It was like the United States has started mass graves.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
That's it. Well, the guy that wrote it, because I believe it's just one guy. And yeah, and the CDC, as soon as that game started getting popular, CDC brought him in and said, let's work together, because this game is much more it's a better way to explain why we have to worry about diseases, because people don't get it. They're used to seeing television shows about plagues, and that's not how things go like those television shows. Play this game and you will get why we are so freaking scared, and we are pissing our pants scared about something happening like this.
I love that, I can infect, 70% of the world, and some people are starting to die, and I'll get a little notice. It says, like, minor disease is spreading. Like, scientists have noted that this disease exists and is everywhere, and other countries are reporting it, and it's relatively harmless now, but it could evolve into something more dangerous. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah. And I find it very rewarding because I used to play it on the BART train, because a good game would last all the way from my BART train from where I lived to where I worked. And I would find that I would do my best to thwart the efforts of the scientists. That you'd start adding immunities and making it harder and harder and harder for them to create a cure. And that moment when you realize there's no hope, that you've kind of turned the corner and tipped over the balance, that there is no hope that you'll survive, because you're watching your population shrink and the cure is going slower and slower. And you realize, even if they get a cure, they're not going to be able to administer it.
Yeah.
There's just not enough people. And that moment when you realize you've got it beat, and then you don't do anything. You just sit and watch the population go to zero, and you realize that you've eradicated life off the planet.
And like even some of the prompts, like when you're going to make humanity extinct, you see the prompt that says, humanity knows it's going extinct. the last humans know they're watching the end of history.
Yeah.
Or the last humans are hidden in holes and dying. It's like, Jesus.
It's a really, really, really good game.
And just last night, I got like this new prompt. And like, it's weird how these prompts are so important because they really set the tone. And it was like some new combination of symptoms. It was like hemophilia and skin lesions. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, people have these cuts in their skins, but they're also bleeding a lot. And he's like, and the prompt was like, people are bleeding profusely from their skin at all times. It's become much harder to cure. It's like, oh, just thinking about that. And that kind of made me think about, okay, wait, I'm going to go to the disease page, actually look at the symptoms. Okay, yeah, skin lesions, hemophilia.
It's lesions, by the way.
Oh, lesions.
Lesions.
Okay. Total organ failure. Yeah. Paranoia, insanity. It's like, this fucks people up.
But good. Yeah. It's just an overall great game. If you haven't played it, Plague Inc.
It is. And I'm really excited to not just see some like the new, like I've got Nano Machines. That's the one I'm on next.
Oh, really?
It's interesting because it says like they have a built-in kill switch. So I wonder if
you throw the switch and everybody dies.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just if that's just a matter of infecting people, and then it's just like push a button and they die.
Nice.
But like there's also these kind of spin-offs that you can buy. Well, it's like one's a zombie spin-off,
mm-hmm.
and
I remember when
a couple
that came
others that look real cool.
Yeah. Do you have your notifications turned on your iPhone?
Oh, no.
Turn on your notifications for Plague Inc. Because on holidays, they'll send little messages like, Plague Inc. wants to wish you a Merry Christmas and says, don't forget to wash your hands. You know, little things like that where it just Plague Inc. will send it out saying Merry Christmas from Plague Inc. Or Thanksgiving, you know, Happy Valentine's Day from Plague Inc. You know, some kind of message about kissing or kissing and passing germs.
Yeah,
or little bits of advice
symptom.
to keep yourself healthy.
More effective.
Yep. So what else?
What else have I been playing? I've also been playing daily Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Going through a dungeon a day in that, and I'm slowly getting to the end, but the more I play, that's just a real well-designed game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very classic, but real well-designed. Like, each dungeon feels significantly different, and, like, the combination of puzzles and combat is just so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And Assassin's Creed 4, I'm nearing the end of that, and I really, really love the turn that the story has taken.
What turn? The thing is that I'm afraid we're going to say some spoilers here.
Well, okay.
Without being spoilery, can you explain where you are?
I guess vague spoilers for people. So, you know, warning, FYI. I love the fact that everything has gone to total shit.
Oh.
For Edward. Like, I love the fact that, you know, it began with kind of glorifying this pirate's life. It's like, yeah, look at us. We're rebelling against the man. Woo! And now, like, almost every supporting character is dead.
Right. We've set up a pirate kingdom, and we're going to be different. It's all going to be about, you know, men taking care of themselves. And then there's the disagreements of how to run it. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to work on this, and somebody else says, no, we need to provide medicine. No, we don't. We need to drink. And it becomes it's almost a study in anarchy and trying to set up your new government with you know the oh, by the way, we had a discussion last night of the years of when this game happens in relation to the rest of the canon of Assassin's Creed, and I thought this would have happened after the Revolution, but I guess it happened before.
Yeah, because you're playing as guy from Three's father.
Okay.
No, guy from Three's grandfather.
The guy from Three's grandfather. Okay.
Wait, grandfather or father?
It would make
it's got to be grandfather.
sense that it would be well. It makes doesn't well. You'll know at the end. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Because I did not understand the end, and clearly it was something significant because I hadn't played a couple of Assassin's Creed games, the last two. It was whatever. I don't know what this means, so I was waiting for you to finish it so you could explain the significance.
Because I've gotten to the point where like stuff is happening in the real world that relates back to the ending of 3. And I'm sure if you didn't beat 3, what you saw in the real world at the point where I'm at would be like, what the fuck is this?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of self-referential stuff that doesn't, like, it's just over my head.
That the guy kind of guiding me along in the real world has just taken a crazy twist. It's like, whoa, this world is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, both of the worlds in this game are very interesting. I've been playing it multiplayer, which is why I've been sending you. By the way, you are still online.
That's so weird. My PlayStation is off.
Yeah, so you've got something about your PlayStation, your PSN account is kind of locked, and it won't let your PSN go to sleep.
Wonder if maybe I'm online, like through the website?
Maybe.
It'd be weird that
you don't have a Vita, so that's not it. But regardless, been sending you lots of invites because I've been playing the multiplayer. God, that multiplayer! There's 2 different versions in multiplayer. There's just your regular, teams or individuals killing each other, the competitive multiplayer, and then there's the cooperative multiplayer, which is Wolfpack. And I've played nothing but the cooperative Wolfpack. And God, it's fun. It's annoying as hell. I have never had a multiplayer, certainly a cooperative multiplayer, where when I just get into random groups of people, that I turn into Nick. Because people are such fucking idiots and you want to just punch them in the goddamn neck. But I really want to get a group together, and I realized the only way you could really do well on that multiplayer, the Wolfpack, is to get 4 people you know and 4 people you trust. Because if you get a random person, especially if it's someone who's not communicating with you, there's just really no way to do it well. Because too much is left out, or people don't care about what was said in the discovery mode and how to play it. People just jump in and they start playing and they figure they know what they're doing. And the thing is, there's a lot of subtleties to it that help you communicate with each other so that you get the most amount of points per kill and get many kills each. Because an overall score helps everybody on the team. So it's annoying because you get on there and you could have 3 awesome people who are going slowly, who are walking where they need to walk, who are all locking onto their targets so that everyone could see where the targets are locked and being very careful. And then you have one guy who just walks up and just slaughters jumps into the middle of the pile and just blows it for everybody. So it becomes just a crazy, messed up thing where, of course, if you jump into the middle of a group of guys that you are about to kill, then they all startle and go all directions and everyone loses focus. So it's a very, very fun game. But we really want to get you into the multiplayer again so that you can play with Chaos and Hawk and me, and we can do 4 people and we can just rape that game for points.
Yeah. I was kind of upset that I missed the double XP weekend.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I got distracted by other stuff on Sunday.
Yeah. So, anything else you got going? Because I played a couple of things.
You should really beat Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I haven't played any more of it, but That ending is really, really good.
Yeah.
Because it brings everything else into focus, and you get a choice at the end of that, and it's a really interesting choice, and I think that ending turns Grand Theft Auto from kind of just a fun open world crime game into like a real biting critique of American economy. Like, this is a game that has something to say, and I was kind of blown away when I got to the end of it, because I was like, wow, this is a topical and rather controversial. Like, I'm surprised more people haven't talked about this ending, and maybe it's just because not enough people have beaten it.
Yeah, maybe. All right. I'll do it. I'm kind of looking for a new game at this point. I'm getting that jonesing again, because Don't Starve. I mean, I'm still playing it, still on that same gameplay. So I'm up to like 100 and some odd days. I can't remember what, but I'm not playing it as much because I'm a little afraid to now. Because every time I go in and play it, there's a chance of dying, and when I do, it's gonna break my heart.
You're like, I'm just gonna, live in purgatory.
Right, just gonna you can't die if you don't play. There you go. So I guess I could go back to it, but thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah,
because there's been a part of me that's been wondering if I've really missed something by not finishing that game. Because Rockstar is known for having really good stories, good stories, and I'm really craving a really good story game.
It's
just that I got bored
because I did a podcast about it on Pop Matters, the other side, all right, and
go ahead and plug Pop Matters, by the way.
Yeah, I will, because we always do plug GameHounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
But we were talking about it, and just talking about how the choices that you get at the end, how each one of them is interesting. Like, the game, it's a real big and sprawling game, but that's kind of important because it deals with a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of things kind of simmering beneath the surface, and each one of the endings that you can choose kind of brings one of those themes into focus. Like, each ending has something different to say, but they all work because, each one of those themes is kind of built up and fostered all throughout the game. So the kind of sprawling nature of the game fits because at the end you kind of literally choose what is this game about. So yeah, I highly recommend people beat Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, I played a bunch of little stuff. Of course, I played Assassin's Creed multiplayer. I played some Battlefield. By the way, Battlefield's getting much more stable.
Okay, I'll have to go back to it. I also want to... Man, I got a Killzone for Christmas, and I haven't actually put it in yet.
No point.
I want to.
Put it in so that you can learn how horrible it is.
See, I don't think I'm going to find it.
You're probably not going to find it nearly as horrible as Goldie and I did, but I patently hated it within the first 10 minutes. So I'm going to try and go back to it because it was the first game that I picked up on the new console, and I don't think that it was the best choice. I might forgive it a little bit more because part of my frustration with it might have been the fact that it was a new console and I didn't understand how the controller worked, and just didn't seem to work very well for me. But I'll try it again. I also picked up a couple of new little games. Picked up Pinball Arcade, and I picked up Zen Pinball too, which were both free.
Random thing.
Yeah.
Do you still have a PS3 hooked up?
No, but I can.
Because Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is free for PS Plus, and that's a really good little game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
An
ending that kind of brings everything together.
I might do that. But Zen Pinball and Pinball Arcade, which is kind of funny that you would have two pinball games that were free. Because pinball games there's not that many of them, but there's two of them right now for free with PSN on PlayStation 4. Zen Pinball is okay. I really am getting a little bit annoyed with the revenue model that I'm seeing in these pinball games, where you are allowed to see the game for a minute. It's a demo. They say it's free, but it's not free. It's a demo. You can play it for a limited amount of. Well, it's different. Zen Pinball 2's revenue model and game itself is not as good as Zen Arcade. Zen Arcade is a better pinball game, in my opinion, and it is a better, more user-friendly, consumer-friendly model. The model in Zen 2 is you are allowed to play a very short period of time, usually 2 out of 3 balls. And I don't like the camera angle. I think it's far too low. And you can only play one pinball game. You can buy them in packs of 3. So, like, of course, all the really good pinball machines are, you have to buy them in packs. So you can't even really demo them. You can only demo one of the games, and I forget which one. It's like Captain America or something like that, or Marvel Superheroes.
Oh, like one of the pinball machines themselves.
Right. You can play the Marvel pinball machine, which is a cool machine. Don't get me wrong. It's got a lot of bells and whistles, literally, but it's not as fun to play as in Pinball Arcade, which Pinball Arcade's revenue model is you can play one game, and at the end of the game you can buy it and it will save your high scores. But if you don't want to play to save your high scores, you can just play, and you can play all of the machines that are there. So it's like it's a genuine demo as opposed to, hey, everybody, see what's behind the curtain? And now the curtain's closed. So you can get a lot of play out of it for free. And while I think that the Zen 2 model will make people who like pinball games buy more, it's also not quite so insulting. I don't know why they call it Zen Pinball 2. It's not a game. It's just a demo. And they make a big deal about it being free. Of course it's free. It's a demo, but it's not free. You can't actually, it's not a free game to play. Whereas Pinball Arcade is a free game to play that you can actually put some money toward and have a better time with it. But I think that it feels better, Pinball Arcade feels better. The bumpers work a little bit better. The camera angle is much better because you can actually see where the ball is going, where you want to put the ball. I've played multiple different tables. Each of the tables has its own feel, which is really crazy when you think about the fact that it literally feels the flippers feel different to you because you're playing. It's all virtual. It makes sense mechanically, but it virtually that you're playing on a video game, but yet it feels different. I really find myself addictively replaying Pinball Arcade, whereas Zen Pinball, I downloaded it, played one, and I will never play it again. In fact, I went to go look to how to remove it off the system because it's just sitting there taking space. I will never play that game again. So I would say if you want to play a pinball game, and one that's surprisingly addictive, especially for non-pinball people, I do not like pinball machine games in general. Pinball Arcade is definitely preferable to Zen 2.
Okay.
What else did I play? Oh, I downloaded my free copy of Broken Age.
Oh.
Early stages. But and let me make sure I get this right. Is you really do have 2 separate stories, the girl and the boy.
Yeah, you can switch between them at any time, but they do kind of...
They will come together at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
And I would highly recommend beating Shays first.
Oh, okay. Which is the boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, really recommend beating Shays first.
All
and
right.
You'll realize when you get to the end of Vela's like, wow, you could beat this story before Shay's? That's kind of weird.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I actually started playing her.
Yeah,
And then I immediately went to him, and then I started playing him quite a bit and realized, I really want to play her. So I went to her.
Hers is so much better. I love Vela. I love Vela, and I love the world she walks around in. Like, she makes that game.
Yeah.
I love, well, the world. I love Vela within that world. Exploring it has her. Her kind of like real indifferent attitude to everything, or just kind of being the straight woman to the joke that is the world.
Right. Well, it's definitely a challenging point and click. You have to think your way through stuff, and it's beautiful. God, it's pretty.
I know, it is so beautiful. Like I've seriously thought about going back and playing again just because I want to watch it.
And I'm liking the theme that immediately makes itself present in both the Shay's and Vela's story. That it's about leaving childhood behind and growing up and deciding the kind of person that you are, especially Shay's. Where do you want to be a child, or do you want to be a grown up? If you want to be a grown up, find me.
Yeah.
And it's a wolf, which is awesome because that's just a really great. It's a great model to go after because, of course, what was it, Little Red Riding Hood? The wolf has always represented adulthood and adult matters in fairy tales. And the child protagonist. It's been a sort of a thing like that. Anyway, so so far so good. Only played just a little bit of it. I wish it was on a console. I would really, really wish it was on a console.
Why? Just because it's easier to access?
Yeah, it's actually fairly easy to access, but whereas with Don't Starve, I would sit in front of my computer for hours and not even notice it. As soon as I started playing this, I'm like, I don't really want to be sitting in my chair right now. I really want to just be sitting on the couch and losing myself in it. So I don't know if it's me or if it's the game that isn't really capturing me, but after a while I kind of walk away from it going, I kind of don't want to play this game anymore. So I don't know if it's me or the game. But definitely...
Yeah, I love the game. I actually found it relatively easy compared to some of the other old Tim Schafer adventure games.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
Like Monkey Island 2, man, I was using the hint system
all the time
in that game.
Oh, God, Monkey Island was hard.
And this one,
really hard.
Like, the more I thought about it, it makes me love Tim Schafer even more because he kind of lied to people about the Kickstarter. Like, this isn't an old school point and click adventure. This is like a modern day LucasArts game, not one of the old school LucasArts game. This is a point and click adventure that's built with the modern idea of, simplicity, streamlined, a simple interface. Like, there's no verbs that you have to choose. No, push on that or pull on this or pick up that. Like, everything
it's simply
about
just combining items in your inventory or combining items from your inventory into something in the world.
Yeah. And even then, like, the items you have in your inventory, everything you pick up, you can use. Or everything you pick up, you have to use. So, unlike Monkey Island, like, there's not a bunch of useless items that you'll pick up that just kind of take up space and make you confused. And I love that because I think when people talk nostalgically about LucasArts games, they're not really talking about the game part because those puzzles were always insane and frustrating and dumb.
Yeah,
they're talking
I don't know
about
they were dumb. They were just insane and frustrating. But you had when you finished one of those puzzles, man, you had a sense of accomplishment. You were like,
some of them.
Yes, I got it. And of course, in many cases, this was before the age of the internet. There was no such thing as a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. You didn't have an option. There was no option. You figured it out or you stopped playing.
and that's not what people liked about those games. What they liked was the characters and the world and the humor.
Right.
And so I love that when people gave all this money to Tim Schafer, with this promise of, hey, make an old school point and click adventure game. He kind of understood that when people said that, they didn't mean make a game with obtuse puzzles. They meant make a game with fun characters, a fun world, good dialogue, and all that. Like, he was smart enough to not give us what we said we wanted when we donated the money.
Right.
But to give us what we actually wanted. Like,
Right.
what we didn't realize we wanted.
It's a scary position when you have someone that does that. It's like, you don't really want that. Your mouth says yes, yeah. Your mouth says no, but your eyes say yes. That kind of attitude. But in this case, it worked.
It's not just like, oh, this isn't what you want. It's like, you say you want this, and in a way you're right, but what you really want is this part of the old school point and click adventures. Not the whole adventure, but this part of it.
Right.
So I'm going to give you this part. And yeah, I'm totally glad. Like, I feel happy to give Double Fine more money in the future because they clearly kind of understand what people want.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me really excited for the other Kickstarted game, the turn-based strategy game that kind of has you playing as generations of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely highly recommend if you haven't already picked it up. If you like that kind of thing, the point and click adventure, it's definitely well thought out. Definitely fun to play. Early days for me yet, whether I find it to be. By the way, when the Kickstarter, he said that there's breaking it up into 2 parts. Do Kickstarter people have to buy both parts, or buy the second part?
Get it all free.
Good. Because I'd be really upset if they made it's like, oh, here's $100, and I realized now that I'd spent $100. Oh, I spent $100 on that game.
Yeah. Apparently, this other Kickstarter game came out called the Banner Saga.
Mm-hmm.
That is like a kind of turn-based isometric strategy game about these kind of lost Viking clan that's apparently really good. I might have to pick that up sometime in the future.
So anything else you put your hands onto?
I'm
trying to think if there's
no.
something else. Not me either, really.
I really want to start playing Diablo 3 again because I want to start over as a witch hunter.
Okay.
And I got that book for Christmas that my friend edited, Stay a While and Listen, that's all about the making of Diablo.
Uh-huh.
And I just feel like it'll be super appropriate to start reading about how Diablo 1 was made while I start playing Diablo 3.
I'm down with that. Goalie will be down for that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That feels fitting.
Yeah, and if that game comes out for PlayStation 4, you realize you do have to do that. You have to buy it, even though you have it for the 360. You have to buy it for the 4 because it will make goalie happy. There's certain things we have to do to keep the goalie happy. It's the price you pay for friendship, but we're going to have to do it. It's our gift to him that we buy it for the new console so that he believes that we'll play it with him.
Well, depending on when it comes out, like, maybe I could just put off playing it for the 360 for another week.
Yeah, you've already got it for the 360. Why not? It's not coming out next week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
so we might as well.
But, I've got Killzone. I've got Link. I've got another 3DS game I got for Christmas that I haven't even started because I've been playing Link.
And I'm going to be picking up, by the way, I'm going to pick up my Vita much more this week because I lost my Vita. Oops. I lost my Vita.
How did you find it again? Did you buy another one?
No. I realized that I hadn't seen the Vita in about 3 weeks, and every time I go over to my parents' house, I'm thinking, why? Oh, damn it, I forgot to bring the Vita. That's why I have the Vita, so I can play games while I'm with my dad. Well, he's watching Jeopardy, because I don't really care about Wheel of Fortune and all that crap. Or he likes, he's watching the Australian Open, and I don't like tennis. So him watching tennis, I could play my game. It would be awesome. So I realized, oh man, you know what? I have not seen my Vita in about three and a half weeks. So I went to where I last saw it, or thought I seen it, which was next to my bed on my nightstand, and it wasn't there. So I tore apart my bedroom, wasn't there. Tore apart the front room, wasn't there. Tore apart my desk, wasn't there. I was like, all right, the Vita is missing. So I went and asked Kevin. I'm like, dude, I think the Vita's missing. I don't know where I put it. It got put somewhere, and we cleaned for Christmas, which is always a surefire way to make sure you can't find shit, is clean. So I'm like, it's somewhere that it shouldn't be. So one of the things he did, as usual, men do. Did you check the bedroom? Yes, I checked the bed. Did you check under the bed? Yes, I checked. Did you check behind the nightstand? Did you check here? Did you check there? Did you check your desk? Yes, I checked my desk. So he walked around for about 5 minutes. Then he walked over to my desk, and right on the center of my desk, underneath some papers, he just lifted it up, like right there. And there it was, right in front of my keyboard. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Thought you said you checked your desk.
Check it better.
Yeah. So, but I found the Vita, so I'll be playing Vita more this week. So lots to talk about. What?
Gravity Rush is free for the Vita, and I've heard good things about that.
Yeah?
I'm not sure what kind of game it is. I think it's like some type of maybe JRPG, or maybe it's an action game. I'm not exactly positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really want to play Don't Starve on the, because I think it would be excellent on the Vita. I don't want to play my game, my big game, when I'm up to 100 days, because I really, really don't want to die on the Vita.
Can you keep 2 save files at once?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, you can. I mean, whenever it says load, you'll see multiple save. You see 4 spaces.
Okay.
So when you go to play, it will go to, which one do you want to play? And the other 3 boxes will say new game, new game, new game. So I'll just choose one of the other boxes. So, yeah. Anyway. Want to hit news?
Sure.
All right. Let's hit the news. Wait. Where's my button? Oh, here. Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick D. Nicola, and no Holy Golly, because Holy Golly's stuck. First item is...
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh. Nintendo didn't have a good year. May as well start with
big
news.
Huge news. They had a really bad year.
And it's interesting, I'm reading this article on Kotaku right now. Apparently, there's been a lot of rumors about Nintendo making a new console, but Kotaku kind of went and tracked down a lot of where this came from, and it came from, a couple sites who then got it from anonymous sources who they don't even know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, anyone really could have hopped in and talked about this, because the description of the new console thing is kind of weird and dumb. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just going into the story a little bit, Nintendo, it was like Monday, Sunday, Monday, in that realm of time, confirmed that it is in huge trouble. It downgraded its forecasts of its profits. Actually, this year it's going to be its losses. And I believe that the last 2 of 3 years have been big losses. And this is, I think, going to be the biggest loss of all so far for Nintendo, which has always done really, really well. It's always had a profit. It's always, paid a dividend. Not doing it last 2 out of the last 3 years. But it's looking at a very, very bad year. It has confirmed that the Wii U has officially flopped. The company said the hardware sales of the Wii U failed to reach its target during year end, pushing it into its third consecutive annual loss. Quote, "We failed to reach our target for hardware sales during the year end when revenues are highest," said Nintendo President Satoru Iwata at a shareholder briefing on sales figures. The Wii U failing to shift off shelves, and that despite a $50 price cut last September to $299. Nintendo has slashed its global sales forecast for the device for the year to March 31st by almost 70%. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
It said it's expecting Wii sales to number just 2.8 million units over that period. It also cut its sales forecast from its handheld 3DS console to 13.5 million units from 18 million units. And that was the moment when I read that I contacted Nick over chat, because now I could, texted him and said, yeah, everybody talks about, Nintendo will be fine. Nintendo's got no problems. The DS is great. You've got loads of DSs. It's selling. And the thing is, the DS isn't selling like it needs to make up for the fact that the Wii U has flopped. And that's where they put a fuck ton of money, was into the research of the Wii U. They're in more trouble than everyone believed. A lot more trouble. I knew they were in big trouble, but everybody else said, couldn't possibly be in trouble. It's Nintendo. They're in trouble. Both Nintendo devices are, and I'm reading, by the way, from TechCrunch. Both Nintendo's devices are facing fierce competition from non-specialist consumer hardware fueled by thousands of often inexpensive games apps, aka the smartphones and tablets running on platforms such as Google's Android OS and Apple's iOS. Ownership of app-supporting mobile devices has exploded since the original Wii's heyday, circa 2006. Circa 2006. Whenever I see circa, I think 1900s. It's got to be in the 1900s, because you don't do circa 2000 anything. Anyway, shifting the game goalposts from the living room to people's pockets. Meanwhile, the home console market has been increasingly dominated by Microsoft's Xbox and Sony's PlayStation, leaving Nintendo to be squeezed out by those more powerful home consoles at the higher end, attracting pro gamers with huge franchise titles such as Grand Theft Auto, and driven out at the lower end by the consumerization of portable gaming via mainstream mobile devices. Talk about a rock and a hard place. So anyway, Nintendo says it's now expecting an operating loss of 35 billion yen, which is $335 million this business year, versus its initial forecast of 100 billion yen profit.
Which is how much million?
That's, let's see, if 35 is 335, that 100 billion would be $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yeah, because 100. Wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna get my calculator, because I'm a girl and let's go shopping. All right.
The article doesn't it translates one,
but not the other.
What the fuck?
I know. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not TechCrunch. All right. So clear. If 335 million. Oh God! Oh fuck! Where's? I mean, I could do it, but it would require a lot of zeros. All right, so
okay, wait, so
yen.
What is it in yen? Initially?
It's yen conversion. Yen to US dollar. 1 billion. 100 billion. 100 000 is 9. Let's see, 0. I hate it when they don't have
900 million.
900 million, right? $1 billion. Okay. That's what he said. $1 billion. I was off. It was off by $50 million. I was off by literally just comparatively nothing. $1 billion. I was right. See, I'm better at math than I think. So yeah, they said it was going to.
No, but $1 billion yen does not equal $1 billion.
No, 100 billion yen.
Wait, are you sure it was 100 billion yen?
I'm reading it right now. Much. It had operated and has an operating loss of 35 billion yen this year versus its initial forecast of 100 billion yen profit.
It's not a million?
They say 100 billion.
Are they sure it's $1 billion?
Look it up.
I don't want to look it up.
And it also warned of a loss of 25 billion yen, which is like $200 million, for the year ending March 31st. So yeah, they really believe that if they thought that they were going to make in the 950 million to $1 billion for the last year, and they ended up losing $35 million. That's a huge scope. That's a big difference. It's not just losing 35 million. It's they projected to make close to $1 billion. That's a way missing. That's not just missing the mark. That's the mark being over in the next state. That's not even in the same continent of your mark. Wow. Whew.
Yeah, that may have been a little optimistic.
Well, it's not just optimism. I think they honestly believe that the Wii U would take off the way the Wii did. And if in the case of the Wii, that was foreseeable. That's exactly what the Wii did. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was all that overly optimistic because they expected the Wii U to do that well. Here's the problem with the Wii U. One, they don't have the games. Number one,
despite what you say, M-Hawk,
they don't have.
It doesn't have a lot of games.
It does not have a lot of games. It doesn't have a lot of games that appeal to anybody except little kids, and
which isn't necessarily a bad
no,
thing.
It worked for the Wii.
But also that the 3DS has a lot of games that appeal to a lot of kids, and it's much cheaper.
Right,
and the games are cheaper.
And two, they didn't take advantage of the 1 year advance that they had over the other two consoles.
Yeah, like there wasn't a Zelda game in that year. There wasn't a 3D Mario game.
Right.
Like all the big franchises didn't hit
right.
in that.
And then the biggest way that they didn't take advantage of that 1 year head start, they didn't advertise. When it first came out, I saw probably maybe 3 or 4 commercials over like the span of watching television. And I don't watch much television, but I saw maybe like 2 or 3 times on Adult Swim. Do you remember when the Wii came out? Those Wii commercials were fucking everywhere. Everywhere. And it's like they forgot to market their system. They needed to market their system in a quirky, kind of cool way, just like they did with the Wii U, or the Wii, so it would make kids want to like go look for a Wii U and ask their parents for it. They needed to create a whole new brand of Wii users with the younger generation. The problem is that those kids now have Wiis and not Wii U's. They're picking it up from elsewhere, and their parents are aware of things like PlayStation and Xbox. They just really, really didn't take the best advantage of that 1 year.
I don't think they really explained what the Wii U was.
Right.
I mean, remember that first E3?
Well, when they debuted the Wii?
No, the Wii U. And they just showed off the controller and not the console, and people were like, wait a minute.
Where's the console?
Yeah. And there was an article, a summary of the Nintendo press conference in like USA Today that described the Wii U as like an expansion of the Wii.
Right. And it's
like,
not.
Mainstream press release didn't quite get it. So they didn't do a good job explaining that this was a new console.
Yeah. And it was just overall they did a bad job. I don't know what it is with console makers, but they seem to have this ego that makes them forget the consumer. Like the first time that they come out with something, they're usually really doing a good job of explaining it to us. And then when they get a success, when they get a real hit, then they turn around and they forget that they need us. We don't need them. And so they either don't market to us properly or they don't explain things well enough. And it's like, I don't know if success is that hard or if there's too much ego within the industry to think that just because you had a hit last time, you're going to have a hit this time. I think
it makes sense in that, you have a hit and you're really popular and you're like, okay, I know what these people want because I made,
you don't.
The Wii and people love the Wii. I made the 360 and people loved 360. I made PlayStation 2 and that dominated the industry. Like, okay, we're pretty confident. We know what we're doing. And then you kind of try to do something different, and you realize, oh shit,
I don't know what I'm doing.
gamers are super conservative.
Right. And you'd think that these it wasn't, I mean, the span of time that you just explained from the PlayStation 2 to the Wii U is a decade, way more than a decade, a couple decades, right? We're talking 15 years. You'd think that.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
You'd think that the guys that are closer to the end of the 15 years would recognize the mistakes that were made by other companies at the beginning of those 15 years. 15 years is an eon in the tech industry.
So, because,
how is it they're not learning this lesson?
Each one, it was a different company that had the advantage. Like at first, it was PlayStation that was like, okay, we know what we're doing. Oh shit, we don't.
Right.
Then it was like...
And Microsoft's like, we're not going to be like them. We know what we're doing. Oh shit, we're not.
Oh shit, we don't. And then it was then going, we know what we're doing. Oh, then we don't. So maybe like in the coming decade, people make less mistakes because now all three of them have done that. Or maybe the next big mistake will be Steam with the Steam machines. And it'll be like, well, Steam obviously didn't know what they were doing.
But how sociopathic do you have to be as a company to not recognize that somebody else has made the exact same mistake you're making, but it's going to be different for you?
I think that's just human nature. Everyone thinks everyone else is wrong, and everyone thinks, okay, I can do it better.
Yeah. I don't know, but they've all made exactly the same mistake. They misgauged the audience. They created a product that probably would have been useful to most people, but they didn't explain why it was useful or why we wanted that. They didn't create the I want it feel. And then, except for the Wii U, they priced it poorly. That's the only mistake that Nintendo didn't make, is they didn't create something that was priced way too out of line. So I'm feeling bad for Nintendo. By the way, everyone says, if you read these articles, the answer to it is that Nintendo may have to do this, and I don't disagree that it's going to happen, likely. That Nintendo's only real source of revenue right now, or at least expansion that can make up for some of this loss, would be expanding into the mobile device market with some of their IPs, the Marios and Zeldas and all those other, those Nintendo games, sending those out into the mobile device world and releasing a little bit of control on them and maybe making them open to third-party developers. And they may now be pushed against the wall financially in order to do that. It took a while.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's the best thing, because as much as I'm enjoying the iOS game, that really is a race to the bottom economy.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, what other options do they have right now? They can't make a new console. They don't have the money. The DS is flagging. They're bread and butter on the market.
It's not flagging that much.
Dude,
it's still doing...
Right. 13.5 million from 18. They're short 5 million units. That's like 20% of what they thought they were going to sell. And this is their bread and butter. This is what keeps... The DS keeps that company afloat. So if they're not selling as many DSs, they're not selling as much hardware. It's not just the hardware sales, although that's some of it. It's the software sales that go with the hardware sales. So they're not just losing out on 5 million units of the DS that they expected to sell. They're losing out on 5 million people who aren't going to be buying games from them. So it multiplies. Yeah. It just rolls and gets bigger.
You can't put your games on iOS for super cheap, because then what reason do you have?
I don't think they're going to put it on iOS for super cheap, but I think that they're going to have to open it up to third-party developers and put them on iOS.
Well, that's the same thing. You can't put it on iOS for $40 because no one will buy it.
But they'll make small games. I think they'll make small games and put them on smartphones.
No, I think the best thing they would do is use their back catalog, because I know that they're what's it called? Not the Wii Shop. eShop.
Mm-hmm.
They have all their old games and they sell them for like $4 each or so, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could. That sounds like something that's a very appropriate price for iOS.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is that all their legacy games are going to have to come to iOS.
Oh yeah, legacy.
Yes,
games.
that's what I'm saying.
Not new games though.
Yeah, no. And I think that any new games, they're probably going to also have to look at that. But they're probably first.
I wouldn't say new games. New games we want to put on their platform.
Oh, it depends. They can only do so much by selling old games on iOS. There's only so much they can do. And if once they've put their toe in that pool, they've got to go the rest of the way. Because they have nothing else propping up their game. Right now, nothing else propping up their company. They have got to find new market. They're in trouble because their market is starting to slump. And they have to grow. That's the nature of companies.
But they don't have to grow. All they have to do is stay stable.
No, that's the nature of publicly owned companies. You must grow. If you don't grow every year, if you stay stable, no, it's everywhere. If you stay stable, you're considered a failure.
Well,
you've got to grow to keep your stock
Microsoft
up.
has been a stable company for decades. Microsoft has not grown very much.
Yeah, it has. Oh, yeah, it has. You're expected between an 8 and 12% business growth every year. It doesn't have to be much, but you have to grow. And once you've shrunk, then you got to get around and keep growing again.
Yeah, but I think that's not a very good business strategy because you can't grow indefinitely. And in fact, this might be good for Nintendo because now people aren't expecting them to grow. People, that huge financial expectation that came with the Wii is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So they're free to just live there because they've always been a relatively small company. Mm-hmm. And so now they're free to continue being relatively small and not have to worry about the crazy success.
So I have to share this totally unrelated tangent with you.
Okay, that's good. We can move on.
So I have a cat, as you probably all know, and everyone's this cat. If I do not give it food, it knows I have a podcast, and it knows when I've started it. And if I do not feed it food before the podcast, it will sit behind me and it will meow. And it won't start meowing until I start the podcast. And it knows that I can't get up and do anything about it. So I just look at it and I'm like waving my hands and so this time I actually happened to have a plastic bottle from my soda stream that was empty. And I just did the most amazing over my back, over the shoulder, nailed it in the face. Oh my God. Like, because it's used to me throwing shit at it, but of course I always missed. And this time I actually threw something that had heft and nailed it. Oh, it felt so good.
Oh,
now
I feel bad for your cat.
I know, and now it's she's sitting underneath her the dining room table and giving me the stink eye. Teach you right, bitch.
It's like I am going to rip up everything in this house.
Fuck you! You got was a lucky shot. You can't do that again. I bet you.
I am going to, what is it? What do they do with the claws?
What?
Like scratching post?
Yeah.
Like I am going to turn everything in this house into a scratching post. Your pillow, your sheets, the curtains, the couch.
She already does that anyway. Resogun DLC is in the works. Resogun isn't done saving the last humans passively. Mentioned in the responses to a Facebook page about the game's nomination for Action Game of the Year at this year's DICE Awards. Developer Housemarque has indicated it's working to expand the arcade shooter. It kind of said in passing, quote, "At the moment, we're working on Resogun DLC and another PS4 project," the company rep wrote. So it's been dropped. Resogun DLC.
Cool.
Good. I'm goalie's in love with that game.
Yeah, the game's fun.
Other news. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, a couple of things. the makers of Candy Crush Saga are trying to trademark the word candy and saga.
Yep, they did actually. They've done it in Britain.
From what I can tell, is it's registered, or it's published. The trademark for candy is published, but not registered. Mm-hmm. So the trademark is not actually complete.
No.
And in this period of time, people can register their opposition to it.
Right. But that's in the U.S. They got the trademark in Britain. They're doing it worldwide. They got the trademark in Britain, and with the British paperwork, that's when they went to the United States and said, because we have the British paperwork and we've got it registered there, we're registering candy here. And they filed for it, but they haven't gotten it. Well, Facebook registered face and book.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
Succeed in doing it?
Yeah. So, like, we couldn't create an app called GameHounds Book because it's too close to Facebook. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
you could argue that, I think.
The Candy Crush people have said straight out that they are not going to go after stuff that's clearly not Candy Crush type stuff, like games. Like if you've got something, or even apps that have to do with confectioners and making of candy or candy recipes or anything that's candy related that is not a candy game, then they won't file for anything. But they have already filed paperwork against some app developers. Like some guy made a casino game called Casino Candy, Super Casino Candy Jackpot. And they went after that. And he's like, no, dude, it's clear. I'm not trying to rip off Candy Crush. I don't know why they're going after him, but they sent him a cease and desist. So I don't know. They're definitely using their big stick very carefully, because they know that when you've registered candy, if you start just willy-nilly just firing off at everybody that uses the phrase candy for anything, you're kind of fucking yourself. Those kind
of trademark things have a real checkered history with games too.
Yep.
Do you remember the whole Edge ordeal?
No, I don't remember that one.
This motherfucker, I'm not going to name him because he's an asshole, had a company that he claimed made games, except they never actually published a game.
Uh-huh.
And they trademarked the word Edge. My God, my fucking dog.
That's all right. Just throw a bottle at him. Nick,
yes.
We can totally hear you scream. I could just
wait. How? I muted it.
You muted it, but you can hear it's like.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Mute only works so much. When you scream into the mic with a mute on it, you can still hear.
Well, okay, as long as it was just a little tiny. As long as it was a little.
Yeah, it was just a little tiny.
That's good. That's good. That's all I care about. As long as I didn't break anyone's eardrum.
No, you did not. All right. So, anyway, this dick registered
he
Edge.
The word Edge, and then used that to just like go after every game with the word Edge in it.
Right.
Even tried to send a cease and desist to Edge magazine.
Oh, yeah, that's what they call the equivalent of a patent troll.
Yeah, he was a
trademark
troll. And eventually he lost control of trademark because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But then there was the whole ordeal of the Elder Scrolls sending a cease and desist to Notch from Minecraft because he was making a game called Scrolls.
Oh, yeah.
And that never amounted to anything, but, just kind of weird checkered history.
That would be an interesting matchup. Bethesda, who has a ton of money, versus Notch, who has a ton of money. Let's get ready to rumble. Be very interesting to see the two of them, because Notch really does have more money than God to spend on that crap.
Yeah, he has a lot of money. Bethesda has a lot of money too.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it makes a good fight.
No. Yeah.
Don't Starve devours 1 million players, and there also is a teaser out for DLC. 1 million people have now braved its madcap virtual wilderness, according to developer. Is it Klei or Clay?
I think it's Clay.
Clay Entertainment.
Yeah. spelled with a K, an E, and an I.
Huh?
Not CLAY.
Right. KLEI.
I know. It's the most absurd spell.
I don't know. Anyway, according to the community manager, Clay's community manager, Corey Rollins, who stated in an interview with Edge, he said, well before the end of 2013, we had I hate people when they say over 1 million. It's more than 1 million Don't Starve players. With PlayStation Plus, beyond promotion of being a featured game, a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have tried our game did and really enjoyed it. Some of those people went to check it out on the PC version as well and would maybe be interested in the upcoming DLC. So the DLC, a lot of stuff said there. First off, 1 million players. A ton of people played it because of the PSN. A lot of them are going over to PC so that they're getting like the more genuine experience of Don't Starve. But more importantly, they also said dropping DLC. The DLC Matt Rollins mentioned is titled Reign of Giants. Scant information is available on the edition. The sum of what we know of Reign of Giants can be found in the above teaser. So I'm reading from Joystick. They have a teaser on there. But there's also no word of when this is going to come out. But that's good. I'm glad that they're going to throw some DLC out there. Because that's what made Minecraft, keeping it fresh all the time, adding stuff, especially the stuff that the community wanted.
Yeah.
And this is, if ever there was a model of what's about to happen with Don't Starve, it would be...
I don't think it'll ever take off the same way Minecraft did.
No, it won't be. But at the same time, it's got the same growth pattern, male pattern baldness, so to speak.
Kind of,
Yeah.
except Don't Starve hates you, and Minecraft.
That's the only
Likes
betwence
you.
between the two.
Yeah, that's a kind of important difference.
It isn't important. It's not that important.
Yeah, it is.
Not from a business point of view.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
Minecraft invited players in with open arms and said, "Come explore my neat little world. Come build life-size replicas of the Enterprise." And Don't Starve is like, "You motherfucker, I'm gonna stab you the moment you turn your back."
The minute, just when you think you've got it all handled, I'm going to throw something at you that's horrible.
Oh, you survived for 150 days? Well, guess what? Wolves, motherfucker. Oh, you beat the wolves? Well, here's some more. And here's winter.
Here's winter, and here's this shadow thing that's going to come out and make your fire go away. And then I'm going to send out a snowman.
It's like, how do you like me now?
Right.
Like, I don't like you. Don't stop.
Users are reporting, there's actually this is kind of big news. Users reporting that there are corrupting, the PlayStation 4 is corrupting some save files, particularly in Battlefield 4. But it looks like there's a thread on the PlayStation forums, 34 pages of thread of people reporting having their save files corrupted by the PlayStation itself. So it's not the game, and it's not exclusive to any game. A joystick reader named Jim wrote in to report the loss of 30 hours worth of progress as a result of a glitch that the PS4 console identifies as error CE 34878-0. The bug isn't isolated to a specific game. They're seeing PlayStation 4's seeing corruptions in NBA 2K14, Call of Duty Ghosts, Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, although most of them are in Battlefield 4. But in rare cases, this CE 34878-0 error prevents users from starting any PlayStation application, rendering the console unusable. They're posting a lot of different fixes for it, from all the way from hard rebooting the whole thing to actually sending in the whole console and getting a whole new one. But be aware, there is a problem. Houston, there is a problem with the PlayStation 4. But I'm cross my fingers, knock on wood, hasn't happened to me yet. If it happened on Don't Starve, I would lose my goddamn mind. I'd be so pissed. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. Should we save it for...
Oh, I guess so.
Happy endings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me think. Oh, by the way, one only thing that I will actually do want to hit this on the regular show. That's of the leftover stuff that I've got. That I don't know if you're aware of this PlayStation Vita rebate promotion. You know what? Let's take that over to Goalie. Would be more interested in that than you, since you don't have a Vita.
Okay.
So I'll take it over there.
I haven't heard of this.
All right. So we're gonna head over to the whatchamacallit? What do they call that? The thing that we play.
Something.
That's something. Happy endings. Thank you. Sorry, I was real genuinely having a brain fart. Yeah, we're gonna head over to happy endings. So let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 246. We recorded Wednesday, January 22nd, 2014. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick DiNicola. If you have any questions, call us. Well, don't call us, because one of these days I got to remember what that text line is, because I was relying upon Goalie to tell me what it is.
It's 123.
No. It's something 300-9889. 304-300-9889. Yes, I got it. That's our voicemail line and our text line, so you can send a text or voicemail to that line, and it will actually go directly to Goalie. Check out our website, gamehounds.net, and do send us email. Let us know what you're thinking, and if we say anything wrong or are complete assholes or are awesome, send us an email at gamehounds@gmail.com. Don't forget to check us out on Spreaker. We do go live on Spreaker at noon Pacific on Wednesdays, and that's over at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker. And also, don't forget our website. Our Facebook page. Pissboy does a very good job keeping you up to date with the most important news of the day. That's by going to our Facebook page and liking it. If you like it, you will get our feed, and that way you'll be able to see what's happening, when it's happening, and what's most important to you. That's at facebook.com/The GameHounds. Nick, I'll see you over at Happy Endings in just a few minutes, about a half hour, okay? Mm-hmm. And we are going to have Goalie over at Happy Endings then. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.